And pour a whole 12 ounces with a sprayer and whatever nutrients you have, and spray that whole garden. You're going to get some great microbial life.
Let's go. I smoke perp to the haze, smoke haze to the cheese, smoke cheese to the kush, smoke kush to the sour diesel, and I ain't feeling anything.
Now that's what I'm talking about. Red dead tree matter. High in micronutrients, macronutrients, helps retain moisture. I like to put about 1/3 of that into the soil. Let's go organic.
Now that's the tree matter I was referring to. I just have that with some regular topsoil in there, and I have a bucket of some dirt, some corn husk, tomatoes, some eggshells for calcium, and some weeds that I was picking out of the garden to kind of start my compost. So most of the time they say it takes about a year or two to break this stuff down, but that's not true. When you're using live material, live food with its own bacteria on it, such as the eggs and the rotting tomato, it can help to speed things up. The other thing that I notice is a good way to do it is over the winter time, if you put basically a trash bag over top of whatever your compost pile is. I like to use this wheelbarrow just so I can put the trash bag over top of it, a huge giant trash bag. I'll show you later. But it retains a lot of its own biothermal energy and can keep working during the cold months. I'm going to work this around a little more. Oh, there we go, some lemon peel. Going for some citrus. I can smell the wild onions. So let me get this little mixture mixed up a little more, and I'll be back. So we have most of this worked through. I also like to add a little bit of sand, but I'm going to do that later. There's no point in weighing this down any more than it has to be. Giant trash bag, I was referring to. You're going to see once we get all this dumped in, this is going to be the biggest trash bag you've probably ever seen in your life. But I like to go ahead and just dump everything right into the trash bag. Virtually out the wheelbarrow. And as promised, the biggest trash bag you've ever seen. But they should take this, wrap this up. It's gonna have to be tight. Go back in the wheelbarrow. And it'll still be creating kind of a greenhouse effect within itself. Now, I can easily transport my compost into my pile for next year. So, you saw one of the buckets that I had through the season. I'm going to be collecting just any little food remnants I have: orange peels, citrus peels, banana peels. I use jalapeno peppers from the garden, tomatoes I have from the garden, squash rinds, anything that's going to break down and become food for basically worms, which is going to break down and create microbiology within the dirt. And that's what's really going to give you great yields, great soil, organic growing. Another thing I like to consider is organic growing. It's really about the flavors, and you know what you're putting into what you're smoking, your medicine. If flavor is also an issue, you're going for a specific type of flavor, say like a grapefruit or a lemon. A trick you can do, say about 10 days before harvest, starve the shit out of your plant with water. Then the day of harvest, add about 15 milliliters of essential oil of whatever fragrance you're going for, whether it be a vanilla, citrus, a lime, fruit punch, whatever. Take 15 milliliters of oil to 1 gallon of water. Soak your plant, let it get a good chance to eat it up, say 2 to 4 hours. Then you harvest. Because your plants were starved of water, it'll soak up like a sponge whatever little bit of water it had. It had that essential oil in it, so it should retain it within its body as it's drying. Now I have an ordinary cup of tea. This tea bag, you can take, empty the contents out, and use that as an organic fertilizer to make the soil semi-acidic. In a little jar, I got some old fruit, eggshells. I'm going to take this green tea and dump it right into the canister. I like to dig a hole right where I'm going to throw the compost. And underneath that tarp is the dirt from the holes I dug out. I'm just trying to cover that up because I'm preparing it to get snowed on for the winter. And I'm also going to tarp up the holes. There we go. Cover them on up. And this pot. Get this hook covered all the way up. Just to kind of mark where the holes are and the spacing. But come next season, that compost should be pretty much broken down. I'm going to till that in, and we're going to have some more organic soil to work with next season. Don't get me wrong, I love hydroponics, but while you have the season, there's no better light than the sun. Why not use it? So if you're going to use it, why not grow with some dirt that you take pride in, finish with a product that you take pride in, smoke something good, something world-renowned, something legends are made of, you know what I mean? So any little tidbit you have on making organic dirt better, adding the compost, adding sand, even adding clay pellets, there's mulch you can throw in there, water retention pellets, anything you can do to get the maximum yield out of your plant, get the maximum life, the vitality out of your plant.
Kiss me black ass like MC Ren. Smoke fat J threat rather long and thin. Smoke in the bins. All I do is win. Puff fat dubs but only pay 10.
And now for a harvest update. This is the jar that I'm keeping the stuff that was lagging behind in. But the humidity was up at 69. I couldn't get it down. So finally, after a week or so, it's dropped down to a respectable 63. The jar that's my favorite, I put all the big buds in this one. Oh no, that was it, the 63. I'm sorry. I've been smoking at this one pretty heavily. This was the one that was at 69 and finally dropped to 64. I'll go for the wet stuff. I'll keep the pretty stuff. But I noticed that it's still shrinking. I reweighed it. And originally, like after 10 days of it being dried and semi being cured, it was 4.12 ounces. And I've reweighed it and now it's 4.07 ounces. So it's dropped like 5/10 of a gram, 5 grams. And the bottom part of the plant, the first part of the harvest, H1, we just got the outer buds and the main colas, and this was all the popcorn and leftover. This is holding pretty well at 63. This and the good bud one have been about the same humidity the whole time.